The surveys, that spot two powerful more Democratic opportunities to seize Republic-held Senate seats in Arizona and Texas, might show to be abandoned mirages by poll date. But though the perspective of shut Senate races in such normally Republic-leaning state, shows how old policy alignments are crack as the parties construct new coalitions of supporting. In how path, the drops probable more Democratic reached through the Southwestern present a type of bookend to Donald Trump card's corrosion waste breakout in 2016, while he tightly seized three dark blue side state how had elect more Democratic in each president racing with at low 1992, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. Every growth suggests how following year in that the parties seemed to section the nation in impervious spheres of impact, more than state may be during achieve for both of sides. And how could make a more than unexpected policy how forces both of parties to struggle through a broad battleground rather than each has normally florid in latter year. The variability is entrenched in the changing base of every party's election coalition. Start up Trump card, but accelerator by him. Republicans include set a commander and amongst older, dark blue collar, non-urban and evangelic whites. How benefit is enhancing the GOP's length-term stance in Midwestern, Appalachian and large plain state how stay preponderantly whites, hard dark blue collar and yet substantially dependent on manufacture, source extraction and farming for jobs. Start in the 1990s, but accelerator with Barack Obama's at first poll, Democrats, versa, include grown-up more confident on a coalition of youthful human beings, sexual minorities and school-educated, worldly and solitary whites, particularly female. How is slow enhancing the side's stance in sun waste state how are increasing more than racially various, and are as well in lot cases transition more rapid rather than the generally white center state in the position industrial, data age economics. Above the length period, these shifts will potential indicate how Republicans win more than elections rather than they do present through corrosion waste state such as Ohio, Iowa and Michigan, and Democrats will do more profound inroads through sun waste state of Georgia and polar Carolina to Arizona and Nevada. But the impact present is really various. Time these concurrent changes are in midstream, they are creation a more than competition balance sheet in both of the corrosion waste and the sun waste. The outcome is how the 2018 intermediate poll and the 2020 president racing will every potential make a parade of close disputed races on both of fronts. The 2016 president poll proposed a demonstration picture of how the supporter balance sheet is developing in both of the sun waste and corrosion waste. One way to action the changing is to comparison the 2016 president outcomes in both of groups of state to the results in 2008, while Obama won his sweep at first win. Obama won the famous voice above John McCain by a domestic profit of nearly 7.3 percentage points. In 2016, Hillary Clinton hit Trump card in the domestic famous voice by 2.1 percentage points. How tool of the vertex of 2008 via 2016, the more Democratic profit in the domestic famous voice rejected by on May 2 percentage points. But the more Democratic profit rejected by lot more amounts through the corrosion waste. Obama, for copy, hit McCain in Iowa by 9.5 percentage points time Clinton lose it to Trump card by a practically glass image 9.4 points. How's a decrease in profit for the Democrats of completely 19 percentage points almost 4 persons times the domestic ordinary. With the identical calculating, the more Democratic profit of 2008 to 2016 rejected by 17 points in Wisconsin, 14 in Michigan, 13 in Ohio and 11 in Pennsylvania. Following Obama won all every of such state both of times, Clinton lose all of them, in Trump card compressing out Michigan, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania by less than rather than 1% spot every. And though Clinton tightly canned Minnesota, her profit down there rejected by almost 9 percentage points compared to Obama's. Wherever Clinton obtained land above Obama Nevada, wherever Clinton's profit was on 10 points less than rather than Obama's, was the just disputed sun waste country wherever Democrats lose so lot land with 2008. But in Colorado, polar Carolina and Florida, her profit rejected by on 4 percentage points, less than rather than the domestic ordinary, in Democrats keeping the at first and surrendering the last couple. In Virginia, that Clinton cozily transferred, her profit bring down by just one spot of 2008. Clinton lose Georgia by nearly precisely the identical approximately 5 percentage point profit as Obama did in 2008. And she in fact constricted Obama's profit of destruction of 2008 by 5 points Indiana, Arizona and 3 points in Texas, above a time while the domestic famous voice profit, remember, had excited 5 points in the direction the GOP. These changes manufactured a considerable quantity of comparatively shut state in both of the corrosion and sun belts. Trump card 1, in rising procedure of profit, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Florida, Arizona, Polar Carolina and Georgia, all by 5.1 percent points or less than. Clinton controlled comparatively competition victories of 5.3 percent points or less than in Minnesota, Nevada, Colorado and Virginia. Democrats expect for Arizona, Texas surprises these shifts as well manufactured a expressive reorder of the state. Clinton lose Texas by a less profit rather than Iowa, just 8 year over, the more Democratic profit had been above 20 points superior in Iowa rather than in Texas. She lose Arizona, Georgia and Polar Carolina by lot less than rather than she lose Ohio, following Obama had run lot superior in the horse chestnut country rather than any of the some three. And she won Colorado and Virginia by more than rather than she transferred Minnesota following the inverse was real for Obama in 2008. The 2018 Senate elections will ensure the following key measuring device of these changes. In the Southwestern, Democrats are on the crime. In Nevada, Republican Senator Deccan Heller, who is cladding more Democratic Representative Jackie Rosen, is to liberate the solitary largest sensitive GOP Senate position. In Arizona, that is usually to liberate the other best more Democratic pickup truck prospect. Recent 1 week's Alphabet/15 Forecast Insights survey showed Democrat Kirsten Sinema guideline all 3 top competitive environment in the GOP Senate initial, consisting Representative Martha McSally, the very touted favorite of the side institution. All of the Republicans were weighted downward by misfortune in Trump card. The survey found his adoption amongst school-educated whites in the country had moistened under 40%, and they now privileged Sinema above McSally by dual digits, a big enhancement above the normal more Democratic productivity down there. Though more than remarkable was the Quinnipiac College survey recent 1 week show Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz guideline Democrat Beto O'Rourke by just a thin 47% to 44% profit. Democrats include had their consumer expectations in Texas dashed frequently quite, largest newly while government. Greg Abbott resoundingly hit Wendy Davis, the Democrats' very advertised gubernatorial candidate, in 2014, to stay skeptical. But the Quinnipiac survey offered how anxiety in Trump card, whose adoption ranking had skidded to fair 43%, may be creation the facility for more than competition races in Texas. Time Democrats include benefited of the country's increasing variety, they include struggled to do the inroads amongst school-educated whites how include forced them in another place. The Quinnipiac survey, although, showed how lightly above couple fifths of school-educated whites in Texas now disapproved of Trump card and lightly by couple fifths told they would supporting O'Rourke. If Democrats can suffer how whites collar supporting, following Clinton and Davis every transferred less than rather than a third of such voters, they can potential hold Texas during achieve, though if it remnant inclined off of them. Republicans goal the corrosion waste in the corrosion waste, keys Republicans on the crime the year. Following Democrats in 2016 unsuccessful to displace Republican Senate incumbents in Wisconsin, Ohio and Pennsylvania, the GOP now is installation main challenges versus more Democratic incumbents in Missouri, Indiana, Polar Dakota, Western Virginia, Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Trump cards splanknick connect in lot work class whites in such state creates hazard for every of such Democrats. Yet Trump cards slip in these places family member to 2016 raises their prospect of surviving. In Pennsylvania, for copy, a Muhlenberg school survey showed Trump card's adoption ranking dive to 39%, and Democrat Bob Casey guideline Republic Lou Barletta by dual digits. Amongst the non-college whites who keyway Trump card's Pennsylvania win in 2018, the SEO's adoption ranking had sagged to on though, and such voters, in rotate break nearly precisely in part among Casey and Barletta, on to figures stipulated by Christopher Burick, CEO of the Muhlenberg School Institution of Social View. Amongst school-educated whites, who had break uniformly among Trump card and Clinton in the country, the SEO's condemnation ranking now exceeded his adoption by 23 percentage points. Amongst such identical voters, Casey, respectively, led Barletta by a devastating 19 points. The overall topic through sun waste and corrosion waste is how the quantity of races how no one party can completely get for given the drop is amazingly big. For the close disputed Sinead races, both of sides are as well fastening for tightly gubernatorial contests in state of Nevada, Georgia and Florida, to Michigan, Wisconsin and Ohio. In 2020, the identical could be real in the president racing, in Georgia and Arizona, previous secure for the GOP, and Minnesota, securely more Democratic with the 1980s, potential connecting the conventional listing of approximately a half a dozen battlefield state, and Texas not far over. In geology, while fault sheet change, earthquakes pursue. For the following several years, the identical may be real in US policy.